Well, how the mighty do indeed fall. UKIP, once um, a incredibly powerful political force here in the UK. No one can deny that. Electorally, yeah, they never sort of won any seats in Parliament, but their effect on sort of the political direction of the Conservative Party, um, again, one of the main goals of Nigel Farage was to push the Conservatives into a more sort of, far right policy, which he has done. I mean, you get to the point where you look at the immigration policy. The Conservatives at the moment, under Priti Patel, have adopted the exact immigration policy that Nigel Farage wanted and advocated for years during his time as leader of UKIP. And yet now, oh, this is terrible. See, this plan, this immigration system is wrong. It needs to be even more tougher. Well, hold on, Nigel. This is the very thing that you wanted. And of course, that's UKIP's ex-leader, a former leader, saying about this. But of course, he's battling for relevance, even to a point now where he's trying to even sell his own gin, which, by the looks of it, doesn't even seem to be produced in the UK, from what we can tell. And of course, claiming that gin is a British invention, when again it's not. It's very much a European creation. So once again, fail all around for Nigel Farage. But back to UKIP. I mean, what a political giant UKIP used to be. Even now, lost almost all its councillors. They only have, I think, 2 left in the UK. And at one time, local elections on councillors, that was an area where they used to do very, very well. But of course, UKIP really struggled, and I mean really struggled after 2016, because after all, well, they'd won the vote to leave the European Union. So Farage left. But then you were left with a party who its main aim, its main purpose had been fulfilled, and the guy at the top who I've said this plenty of times before, if you look back at media appearances or interviews, every single person in UKIP that got interviewed during Farage's time at UKIP was Nigel Farage. You would think that UKIP was just a one-man party. But that was part of Farage's game as well. He knew no one else in UKIP could ever be trusted with doing media appearances or anything like that. That's why he always got on, Question Time, because he knew the local leader or the local candidate could not be trusted to say something, well, racist or outright stupid that would put the party in a bad light, because Farage knew what he needed to do. He needed to sell this sort of, middle class, racism where, oh yes, we're not going to be that racist, but we're going to be, that type, if you get what I mean, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And he did it many, many times with the stuff that he would said throughout all his tenure at UKIP. But of course, after he left, UKIP basically fell into disarray, pretty much because of the 2 reasons we stated. First of all, its main reason to exist was gone. And of course, the fact that Farage had dominated the party to such an extent, no clear successor had ever been crowned, anointed, or even prepared in the eventuality that he would ever leave. And UKIP went through, I think it was like 6 leaders in very, very quick succession. But here we have today a very, very fun story, because you may remember one of their leaders, Henry Bolton, if you remember. And Bolton was leader for about 5 months. Not exactly sort of the longest tenure in the leadership. I think someone else beat him by, I think, about 2 weeks. that point. But he's had a phenomenal freak out, an absolute phenomenal freak out where he was strolling along the banks of the Thames and decided he was going to freak out at falafel. Yes, this was the extent of his freak out. So let's bring this in. So this is his tweet that you can see now. So Henry Bolton, OBE. Sadly, there are a bunch of, quote, tacky pop-up fast food stalls along the Thames at the Tower of London. Who cares? Who cares? You know, what's the big point about these, quote, tacky fast food stalls? By the looks of it, those stalls that you can see in those photos are actually quite good in terms of stalls. They don't look overly tacky. They look pretty good, to be honest, and they look quite inviting. He went on to say, I realized back in the day all sorts of traders would have frequented this area, but here's the fun point. But, quote, Middle East falafels and Nashville Hot Chicken, another great policy from Sadiq Khan. So he's basically shouting at food because it's not British food. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? That falafel might have been really good, Bolton. You might have quite enjoyed it if you'd, tucked into it. A bit of Nashville hot chicken sounds pretty good to me. But here we have a UKIP leader freaking out over food. And not the UKIP leader, the former UKIP leader freaking out over food. And this just goes to show you how UKIP was pretty much destined to fail once Farage left. And you can see why he very much abandoned that ship even when he was asked to come back and resume leadership. He went and created his own party. That's how much he knew that ship had sunk. And now you've got former UKIP leaders freaking out over falafel on the Thames. As we said at the start, oh, how the mighty have fallen. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And of course, there is the YouTube thank you button down below as well. And of course, there's the YouTube subscription thing you can get as well, where you get sort of badges, emojis, and you get a free super chat a month as well. So as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, we'll see you all next time.